Welcome everyone to Dialysis Nurses Supporting Nurses, and today we're going to talk about venous pressure. And whatever brings you to this video, if you're a new dialysis nurse, experienced dialysis nurse trying to figure out like how do I teach this topic, maybe a patient just learning, whatever it is, a nursing student, like you're right on schedule. You are doing great, okay? Especially you new dialysis nurses out there, you are doing great. Dialysis can be a very hard specialty. It's such a foreign language, but you'll get there. I didn't come into dialysis nursing knowing it all. And if I'm being honest, I still don't know it all. There's always more to learn, which is exciting about dialysis. And again, I've said this before, I'll say it again. It took me at least a year to be comfortable in dialysis nursing. So just give yourself some grace. So today we are going to talk about venous pressure. And there is that word all over the healthcare system. In dialysis, venous pressure most simply is how easily the blood is being returned to the patient. So we have one needle or one lumen that's taking blood away from the patient, gets cleaned, and then gets put back into the patient. Awesome. Okay, so what do we need to know? What do we need to know about venous pressure? There's four. I can think of four things right now and we'll go from like most significant to like the easiest fix, in my opinion. So venous pressure. I have a prop today. Is this gonna work for venous pressure? Let's use a straw. So like if we have venous pressure, this is like the needle going into the arm. If it's in the vessel, it's gonna flow really easily in there. There's no roadblocks. There's no like traffic jam. It's just going to go in there so easy. So the venous pressure will be it'll match in a perfect world the arterial pressure. A good venous pressure, check your facility policy, but I like a venous pressure that is less than 230. Once it starts getting up there, I start getting a little concerned. So what do you do when you have this high venous pressure? Number one, check the patient. Okay, one, check the patient. How are you doing? Does your arm hurt? Let me see your needles. Oh my gosh, you've got a big golf ball. Get big golf ball outside. Oh, I have some grapes. Is that gonna work? Like a big golf ball, like it'll be like this big, can't see that, a big bump in the arm. It's gonna look like a golf ball. I don't golf, so I don't have any, but it is gonna be like, and it is going to be hard, and they're gonna be like, it really hurts. It hurts, Lindsay. That is infiltration. High venous pressure, big bruise, infiltration. Number one, check the patient. To the next most important, I would say, is you have the blood returning to the patient, and then there's like a air bubble detector. And before that is there's kind of like this venous chamber. It kind of looks like this, but more oval. And the blood just should be going through that like no problem. Easy. There's no clotting. But if I were to throw like some like blood clots, when the blood is outside of the body, when it touches air, like when I get a cut, it's going to clot. Like that's what we want. We want when we're bleeding, we want to be able to clot. So there is clotting that happens in the circuit, in the tubing of dialysis. Clotting is it's gonna cause traffic jams. If we start getting clots in here, the blood is just, it's gonna get stuck. It's got nowhere to go. If it's got nowhere to go, you're gonna get high venous pressures because it's gonna be like pushing. You've got the pump going and it's gonna be pushing, like, I need to get this blood back to the patient, pushing, pushing, pushing. And then, ooh, sorry, my friend. And then if there's clots in there, it's gonna get to the point where you're gonna get high pressure alarms and you won't be able to bypass it and you won't be able to return blood to the patient. So that's where you're really looking at the trends. Oh, yes, Lindsay, I love trends too. Awesome. I knew we'd be friends. Trends. I started with a venous pressure of 200. I'm 2 hours in and I'm at like 260. What do I do first? Patient. Look at the patient. You okay? Everything's connected. No bruising, no pain. Okay, what's next? Is the system clotting? Is that venous chamber clotting? It might be, especially when you're like, oh, I'm getting more alarms. And with the B-Bron machines, I always get like an air bubble detector alarm. I don't know why, but like when I get that alarm, I'm like, ooh, they're clotting. And that's just something I experienced. I really can't explain it, but it's happened to me quite a few times where I'm like, ooh. So things that you can do even throughout treatment, if I had my phone, I'm using it for this, I'd shine a light on the venous chamber and you can kind of see where the clots are. So you just kind of look. And let me tell you something, if their access is working fine, there's no infiltration, there's no problems, they're clotting the system. And we talk about anemia all the time in dialysis. They work really hard to make their red blood cells. We give them EPO, we give them iron, and we check it. We want to keep their hemoglobin above 10. And now you've got a circuit with 300 mils of blood and you're clotting and you can't give them their blood back. So they lose all that blood. It is such a bummer. That is why it is so important to watch those trends and trust your venous pressure alarms, high or low. Whatever they are, trust them, look at the trends, look at the patient. So if I've got clotting in here, I'm like, ooh, you're clotting. I usually get a blood pressure because then it'll like mark the EMR where I did it, and I can type in high venous pressures, unable to resolve, system clotting, blood rinse back. So then I'm going to rinse back their blood. If they have 90 minutes left, it's kind of like, oh, they cluttered the system. Yes. Yes, they cluttered the system. They're done early. No. Dialysis is too important to miss 90 minutes. So that's where you get to restring and reprime the system. You rinse back their blood, like you can put the machine in bypass. That's like where the button is. Put the machine in bypass and return their blood. Follow that would be a good video too. But a nurse will show you how to do that, or a tech, because they are amazing too. Somebody with dialysis experience will show you how to return the blood because they have experienced clotting. When it's your first time, you're like, oh my God. Especially high risk for clotting is if they are having a lot of alarms during treatment, like you have a positional catheter. Like fistulas are less positional, because I love a fistula, but catheters, they can be a little more positional, a little more like in center upkeep. So if you're getting a lot of like the pump stopping a lot, they're at high risk for clotting. So watch for that venous pressure to go up. Okay, so we did infiltration, 1, high venous pressure, 2, system clotting in the venous chamber, 3, oh my God, now we're getting really good. Have you ever heard of TMP, transmembrane pressure? It's like we've got venous pressure, arterial pressure, TMP pressure. That one, I have to chart it and I watch for it, and that's the one where I am looking for extreme negatives. Usually, from my experience, a TMP can be like around 30, 20. The less like fluid I'm pulling off, I find that the TMP is a little bit lower, but I have a visual. Ta-da! Now imagine that this is just like one lumen in the dialyzer. Like you got blood going through here, and then this is a semi-permeable membrane, and then you've got the dialysate going through it, and that's the science of it. I can't believe I haven't done this before. I'm fascinated. But like I talked about with the venous pod, blood will clot and blood will kind of block that chamber, right? It'll block the blood from going through because it's just, this thing just kind of catches the clots. And then you have the air leak detector. So that's what we got here. So now we're dialyzer. So this is where I was going to use grapes, where you like throw grapes in here, but you can't really see it. With CRTs, they kind of use the word like sticky, but like blood is just getting stuck on the dialyzer, gunking it up. Like we've all seen our air filters that we have to change every now and then. And I don't know, there's probably like car filters and like lots of different filters. This is exactly what the dialyzer is. So if this starts getting all gunked up full of blood, they could just be, have a reputation of being clotters. I found people with infection, if they're sick, they're just clotting the system more. And I'm sure there's like a process and a reason and a scientific reason for that, but that's just something I've experienced over time. Like, oh, they didn't clot 2 weeks ago and they're clotting today. Oh, they have pneumonia. Or in the hospital, I find I have more clotters in the hospital. But so here is, this is just so much fun. This is a dialyzer membrane. Okay, so extreme negative. That just means this is all getting all gunked up and blood, and it's just not able to like clean. It just can't clean through it. And when you rinse back, you can kind of see where it's gotten all gunked up, because some of the facilities, it has like, how much is the dialyzer clotted? 25%, 30%, or is it like clean? So that's where you get extreme negative TMP. And here it's the same rule as clotting the circuit, the system. You want to get their blood back before it's too late and you lose the blood in the system. Because if you can't get the blood through, you can't get the blood back. I've experienced it where I have not been able to get the blood back, and it's such a bummer for everybody involved. And usually, if that happens, you let the provider know, like, hey, they clotted the system. This is how much heparin they're on, or like you just kind of tell them what happened, and they'll be like, okay, check a hemoglobin on Wednesday or whatever day it is. And if they're already running low, they might say, let's get a type and cross too. They might need a unit of blood. So once you do it more, I found the less the more I'm able to catch those clotting system, that clotting venous chamber, and that clotting dialysis sooner, and I'm able to get the blood back. Because I used to be like, well, let's see what happens. Let's see. It might be okay. We might make it the next 20 minutes. I've been burned too many times by like, let's see. All right, so we already went through 3 reasons you're having a high venous pressure. And I know this one I said extremely negative TMP, but it's really very similar to venous pressure because the venous pressure might be high too. But usually the venous chamber for me clots sooner than the dialyzer. But I'm trying to think, there's been a couple times where I'm like, oh, extremely negative TMP. Fascinating. Rinse the blood back. What else? So I went through 3. Okay, infiltration, big deal. And a big deal where you want to catch it early. If a golf ball is better than a softball, and the patients are going to tell you, like, oh, it hurts. And that's what you tell them. If your arm starts to hurt, please let me know. So we talked that, venous chamber dialyzer, and now this is going to be the best one. And this usually happens right when I get started. I got them all hooked up. They're all hooked up to the machine, and then I hit go, start, and then the venous pressure jumps up to 350, and I'm like, patient, right? You're the patient. Patient, you okay? Okay. Oh, I forgot a clamp. That's the best one. Unclamp it. System starts going, oh, I forgot to clamp it, Susie. I'm so sorry. Oh, it's okay. You always forget to unclamp. I know. Okay, so I said, oh, I just forgot to clamp something. And usually, I swear this happens more with the arterial needle than the venous for me. It gets kinked. It gets kinked, and I get a high pressure. Those are like the best fixes when it's just a clamp. Oh, it's just a clamp. A high venous pressure. See, it's not. It makes sense now. If it makes sense, then I can remember it, and then I can watch for it. But those venous pressures, it's always the patient. We want to make sure the patient is safe. Alarm patient, right? Alarm patient. You good? I can see the whites of your eyes. You okay? You okay? It's not just alarm, reset, walk away. Alarm, reset, oh, they're sleeping, walk away. It is patient, patient, you okay? Like, it is just so important. So important to check on that patient. Number 1. Machine patient. And I know it can just break your heart. They're so tired and you don't want to wake them up. But it's been my experience that when it's a safety thing, like, you just have to wake them up. And sometimes, especially depending on how much fluid I'm removing or like whatever's going on with them, if they're in this kind of deep sleep, they miss those like initial symptoms before they get like hypotensive. They miss that like mild cramping in their sleep. What happens is they get woken up with like severe cramping. These are things that I'm saying, I don't want to like scare anybody, but these are just things that I've experienced, and they're not right or wrong. And it gets complicated, and we don't have to know it all. That's why we work with the team. So I am grateful for that too. I'm grateful for all of you. Thank you so much for building this community of dialysis nurses supporting nurses, and I will see you guys next time.